Hello, good morning and welcome back to the Fish Locker out on the boat. I'm out today with my friend Chris and we're out to go and do some mixed fishing. Chris has also got some family coming down, so we're going to try and get some fish for the table. We're going to try and catch some bait first, go out and work some wrecks and then maybe end up on the reef on the way home. Let's go. Took some finding, but they're there. Well, that's the bait fish down there that they're eating, little tiny pilchards. We've had a few mackerel, now we're going to make our way off to the wrecks. We have made it to the first wreck that we're going to try. I have just killed the engine so that we're going to figure out which way we're going to drift. We're going to try our first drift. I am going to be fishing with a mixture of the Skerries Pro Fish Locker lures on like a long length. This is going to be about 5 or 6 feet. I also caught 2 little tiny pilchards. I'm going to put one of those down first and I'm just going to send it down on a circle hook. Again, about 5 or 6 feet off 20-pound fluoro, just to a 3-way swivel. And all I'm going to do is we're going to come up tide of if this is the wreck on the seabed, come up tide of it and then drift over it, drop our lures down and then fish them up over the wreck. And I think Chris is going to do a mixture of slow jigging and shadding as well. We're just going to see what's working. I always, in my mind's eye, try and imagine like a big anglerfish or something like that sat next to a wreck. One that's managed to sit right next to a wreck for loads of years because no one can net it because it's next to a wreck. And as you drop your lure down, it just goes ah. Oh, there we go.
This feels not like a bollock.
Oh. Bugger.
It's a nice colour, isn't it? Yeah, nearly almost in that back. You want to send it?
Yeah, we'd literally just come off the back of the wreck there and we've just seen some fish balled up behind the wreck. Both coming to fish at the same time. I'd lost mine about 15 metres down.
Ready?
Yeah. You got it? I'll have a look. Yeah, it was literally just off the, off the back corner. Hey, that was 30 metres now. Okay. The descender that you use there to return that pollock, it's just a piece of wire like that with a lead attached, and all you do is you hook it through the fish's lip and drop it down, and the lead helps the pollock get back down to depth. When you bring them up from depth like that, quite often they've got a little bit of buoyancy in them, and that's just they haven't had a chance to expel all the air on the way up. You're just helping it counteract that buoyancy until it gets down to a depth where it can equalise and it'll swim away. Yeah. Generally 30-40 metres and they're away. You can feel them start swimming against you. Come on. They're not stacked up anything like they were on the last drift.
What's a fish?
Well done. You found your still dingling?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, I might have found something as well. Found it on the drop. That's something small. All me and you are together. Yeah. I don't know if me and Chris are wrapped up together, or whether or not I've got a fish on as well. Man's behaving erratically, so it could just be that I'm wrapped up with Chris, because it does look like he's got a good fish on here. Yeah, the tides aren't very big today. For pollacking on wrecks, you'll choose larger tides, just because pollock feed better when there's a bit of tide running. And when you want to go linging on a wreck, you pick the small tides, just because the ling live right inside the wreck. And they come out a little bit when the tide's slackened off. And also, on the smaller tides, you don't drift as fast, so you can spend more time over the wreck, around the wreck. That's why. That's a pollock. Nice pollock, yeah. This is why your fight felt funny, because you had me attached to you.
There you go. Testing out the pink one.
Tell you what, it's a girthy fish, it's got a lot across its back.
Just might get some nice fillets off that.
Hang about, I'll get a photo. We'll go around and have one more drift and then we'll go and try another wreck. Quite like to catch a fish out of this wreck and then we'll go somewhere else. It's important not to just hammer one wreck all the time. I mean, we could stay on this one all day and keep catching fish. But by just taking like one from here, one from there, and one from there, also being selective of the ones that you take. So I got that right there. Where's the wreck? It's out. Oh, it was. Doesn't usually happen. Yeah. When she's in, she's usually in. Look it up.
Right.
Big old fat pouting, that's what that was. Well, I said I wanted to fish off this wreck. I should have been more specific. We have literally just arrived at another wreck and the seagulls are already here waiting for us. I don't know how they do it. But yeah, I've come to try a different wreck. I'm going to fish with a little soft plastic first. I have got one live bait left. I'll give that a go once I see what this drift's going to be like. I'm hoping it's going to be the same as the last wreck. The tide doesn't move the same all the way around. The further you come offshore, the tide's at different times. So it could be high tide inshore at 12 and you come 4 or 5 mile off and it'll be at 2, and if you go 6 mile off it'll be at 3. So yeah, it flows differently. See a lot of fish down there, but yeah, I'm thinking he might. Has that swum back? Yeah. Crazy. Looks more like a pollock. With pollock like this, if you've got a soft enough rod, you set the drag right on your reel and it's a slow, steady wind. You don't want to pump them up just because that little hook that I'm using every time that you pull and it shakes, it creates a slightly bigger hole in its mouth. And if you let any slack line as you're lifting it up, the hook will drop out. Come on, you come now. Not as big as yours, but it's nice enough. Oh, and it's gone. I was just about to say, another benefit of taking your time with them is that if you want to release the fish, they don't blow. The swim bladders don't blow, their eyes don't pop out, they can swim back, like that one there. That one there's literally, just as I went to go and take the hook out the side of the boat, spat it out for me and it's gone back. Yeah, that was a fish of 20 year size. We will go around and we will just drop it off the back of the wreck now. I'll let you have another 15-20 seconds of that. I'm going to go down with a live bait next time. There we go, we'll have another drift at that. I am going to go down with a live bait. Yeah, Chris has gone down with a 2-up baited rig. I did have one of the baits taken off on that drift. I'm going to try my best to try and keep hold of the fish this time because I just can't seem to keep them on the flipping hook. Just one of them days to do for me, I think. Right, there's fish stacked up there. There's probably about 8 or 10 metres of fish there. What we're looking at is we're looking at the sounder, and you've got the wreck, and the fish, the pollock that we're targeting, sit above the wreck. The ling that he's targeting, you won't be able to see them on the sounder because they'll be in it. But the pollock I'm targeting will be. Fishing a live bait works really well when the tide's slack, because the live bait swims around. There's nothing you can do with a lure that will beat the real thing. But the only bad thing being is if you miss a bite, generally you've missed your chance, because you only really get one good bite with a live bait. And if you don't hook the fish, the live bait's gone. And I've had a couple of little bites. Yeah. You're now up against it because you're thinking, should I reel it all the way in and check my bait? If the bait's gone, that's fine, and you can change it, but if the bait's still there, you've just wasted your chance. I've nursed you all the way up and it's pulling you. It's holding out the hope that that might have been a John Dory, and it's not. It's a pouting. Fat pouting. With what looks like it's been eating a sea mouse. These little fibres here that was in it belong to a sea mouse. I'll put a picture in to show you what one of those was. Yeah. Fingers crossed all the fish that we're seeing on the sounder are not pouting. Hopefully there's some pollock amongst them. There's the net. Unfortunately, there seems to be a little piece of like lost fishing net on the back of the wreck, because Chris has just found it there. You can tell when it's a piece of net rather than the wreckage, because when you pull tight and hit the wreck, it's solid and it just bangs. Whereas when it's a piece of net, it just gradually gets heavier.
It's quite an old bit, it's just pulled straight through.
There we are. That is the netting that's just been pulled back. When Chris got snagged into bottom and pulled for a break, this is what it's come back with. Now this is, it looks like a piece of gill net. Yeah, it is. You can see by the width of the meshes in it. But yeah, that could be, yeah, it could be 50 years old. And it's, yeah. It's called ghost fishing when it gets lost on a wreck like that. Take this and put it in the bin when we go ashore. Yeah, unfortunately, because these wrecks are in like 70-80 metres of water, all the shallower wrecks in like 20, 30, 40, divers can go down and cut the net away. When it's this deep, you can't really do it. Will you shut up? Right, I'm trying another drift, but down a different part of the wreck. We've, well, kind of partly partly by coincidence but partly by design also, is the direction that we are drifting today because of the wind and the tide. I've found a wreck that allows us to drift right down the length of it. If a wreck is like at right angles to where the tide is, you just drift over the middle of it. So if it's only 10 metres wide, you only get 10 metres of drift over it. Whereas if it's 100 metres long and you can go all the way down it, you can drift over it and fish for 2-3 minutes. Yeah, we're running along a wreck now. The first time we ran down one side of it and just skated the edge of it. The last time, the really snaggy time, where Chris nearly lost his rig about 5 times, was right over the middle of it where all the structure was. Now we're just going down the back side of it. Because these fish, they might all be pulled up on, usually it's the down tide side of the wreck, but some tides they're 20-30 metres in front.
Even further, 60 metres in front.
Yeah, it's you've just got to look around. They aren't always going to be in the same place on the wreck. I've had it before, even on small wrecks, where they'll all be kind of like balled up right on one edge of it, and you won't get them 15 metres away. The reason why I'm leaving the engine running today is because we have had a minor electrical issue. I've got dual batteries and I run them separately. I have one for the engine and one for the electronics. So if anything happens to one of them, I can always get the engine started and get back home again. And yeah, I think we've got an issue with one of the wires, the trickle charge between the batteries. Because between one of the drifts I just went through, I carry a set of jump leads on board as well, so that I can do one battery off the other. Yeah, as soon as I connected the jump leads over, we're back in business. So yeah, it pays to know the equipment that you've got on board and how it's set up, but also it pays to have some little bits and pieces on board the boat, like a little mini tool set, things like set jump leads. The amount of particles in the water right now is horrendous. It's just full of little chunks of plankton. Oh, there's a fish. Is it a pollock or is it just a big pout? Pollock. Pollock. Just wanted to be in the wreck, didn't it? Probably see the wreck. Don't go in there, don't go in there. Get out, get out, get out. That's one of the problems about hooking up real near the seabed, is it'll bolt back for cover, and if we're only using like a 20-pound fluoro hook length, if it gets in there, it's going to part you off. It's in daylight, that's what's going crazy now because you can see a bit of daylight. Nice one. Safe hands.
Yeah. Cheers for you with them today.
Yes, I finally got one in the boat, and it is a good one. And there is the lure in his mouth. Yeah. But still, as I took my time with it, you see there's no blisters down its side, it's still in good nick. If I wanted to return this one I could, but actually I'm going to keep this one. That is a stunning fish. And there's the yellow one right in the roof of his mouth. Flubber-dub pout. Oh, I tell you what, I wasn't coming out. For a little hooker in these, I tell you what, they're strong. That lure there has had about 15 pollock and 2 ling on it. I'm going to dispatch and bleed this fish now. I do believe in a humane dispatch and bleeding of fish to get the best quality meat at the end. I'm not going to show that on the video because I know some folks don't like seeing it. But yeah, Google Ikajime or Ikajime, depending on what your accent is. I might be able to drop back down again. We're going round for another drift and I've switched over from the yellow. I'm going to try one of the new colours. depending on when the video comes out, these might already be in the shops. But yeah, we were out the other day with the lads from Sidewinder, Chris and I, on Anglo Dawn, testing out some of the new designs and some of the new models for the Skerries Pro lures. I'll tag a link in the top of the description where you can get them from. Yeah, they're nearly.
They are really good.
Not just saying it because I've designed them, but yeah, I've done a good job there.
Had 2 sessions where I've done 30-40 bass each time.
Yeah, and they're durable as well. I mean, some of the lures on the market are real good lures. You can't knock them fish lures. Them crazy eels or them fish minnows are absolutely exceptional, but they last for one fish. Ballon wrasse even looks at it and it just disintegrates. Yeah, drifts change slightly. The tide is dropping away, and before, when we had wind and tide kind of working against each other, so we were drifting at a diagonal. As the tide's dropping away now, instead of drifting in a straight line, we're doing more of a dog leg as it continues to drop.
Yeah, I'm fishing like a 2-hook flapper right in it, and you're just bouncing the lead off the structure. You're trying to keep it as low to the deck as possible without losing it. How I've not lost this, it's really snaggy down there, but you've got to be in it to pull the ling out. That's where they're sat.
Well, wrecks are shaped differently depending on how they're laying as well, and depending on which side of it you drift over, because they can be laid over on one side. If you can imagine, like when they would normally sit up in the water like that, their hull would be smooth and they'd have all the structure on the top. They're laid over on the side and you drift over the hull, you've got a real soft drift. But if you're drifting over where all the structure was, all the masts, and it's just snags. So yeah, some wrecks are snaggier than others as well.
And that with all the net that's over it, it's a bit of a challenge. Yeah, if you hook a ling, you want to get it out. You got it back? Yeah. Oh, there's some boy over it. Yeah, if you hook a ling, you want to get it out quick. Have your drag locked up and pull it out of the wreck so it gets you bound up. It's game over.
Well, that's it. Like you were saying, you're fishing in the roughest, snaggiest, horriblest part of the wreck, and that ling lives in it. As soon as it feels any pressure, it just wants to run straight for home, doesn't it? So it just runs straight into the hole.
Yeah, that's what that was.
I think what we're going to do now after this drift, I'll have a couple more drops in it. We're going to go to a different wreck, because yeah, we're wanting to get ling now because the tide's dropping off, and this wreck is an incredibly snaggy one. Some wrecks, just by their shape, lend themselves to pollock, and others lend themselves to ling. See what I mean? I've got a piece of netting. Before, when I got stuck on the seabed, it was solid. This one's like a gradual piece of net. Just in time to go. This is also why you build your rigs in a certain way, so you step it down in strength. Like my main line's 45, my leader's 50, my hook length is 20. So if the hook length gets stuck, you just snap your lure off and you keep the rest of your rig and you just tie the lure on. I mean, if your lead gets stuck, you've lost it. You're going to lose a lot. But more often than not, it's the hook that gets stuck. So all you do is you just snap your hook off and then tie another lure on and you're ready to go. I don't know whether or not this lure's come off here. Oh no, it's still there. But we're just a little bit of a bent hook.
Isn't it?
The little tiny piece of net just come up on it. Right, on to the next wreck. Steaming along towards the next wreck, and we have found a massive pod of dolphins. There we are. Yeah, they are big ones, them. Those are bottlenose dolphins, those are the big ones. We do get a couple of 3 different types down here. The most common ones are common dolphins, they're the smaller ones. But the larger bottlenose dolphins like that, we've even had some white-beaked dolphins. Everything is just starting to come alive. All the bait fish just started to return, and with it all the life's coming too. Dolphins, the whales, the porpoise, tuna are soon to be arriving too. Yeah. Amazing. We were just saying there, there's a smaller one, must be like a juvenile. It's just having a real good time, just cutting about the place, look. And the bigger ones keep coming up to it and like giving it as if to say, stop messing about, you. There's a couple of 3 calves with them, isn't there? After playing with the dolphins, we've come to another wreck. And obviously I've got my lure in a tangle straight away, so I can't drop down to the seabed. I'm going to have one drift on here and see what the speed of the drift's like, and then I'm going to go down with a ling rig if possible. And dolphins were nice to see, and then quite funny to see like their character, because you could definitely see there was a couple of juveniles, weren't there, and they were all more acrobatic and running about the place, and every now and again one of the adults would go over and give it like a bit of a nose as if to tell it off to say stop messing about. You got any interest from pouting down there or not? Oh, I'm in the pollock straight away.
Pollock.
Oh, it looks like it. Yeah, that's it. We're alright then. Can get it up. Yeah, you can tell, can't you? As soon as it has a couple of dives there, what calibre of fish you're dealing with. Knew straight away that this was a start all that again. Well, I've not just bursted somebody. I tell straight away with this fish. In fact, this one has been hooked before. See that little hole there in its bottom lip? He's been hooked before and he's got away. Well, not today. Yeah, as soon as he started running back, you can feel some type of like well, just the weight behind it. And like I was saying before, with the ones that I took my time bringing up, you don't get any of these blisters. Wear them. That's barotrauma blisters. I knew I was keeping this one for the table, so it just came straight up. That was a stunner of a fish. Right, we've finished the drift on this wreck. What we're going to do is going to roll around again. Chris just had loads of pouting on the bait. What we're going to try now is we're going to try and go down with the jigs. Now we've caught all the pollock we want to catch. You can fish well for ling with jigs. So the idea now is to catch a ling on a jig. That's the plan anyway.
Yeah, that's the plan.
About 10 metres away from the start of the wreck. We haven't even started onto the wreck yet. We're about 5-10 metres. Oh god, the stacks of fish. There's fish all the way up to. We're in 80 metres and there's fish showing all the way up to 60. So yeah, the fish are spread out over 20 metres of the seabed. Sorry, buddy. Well, it wasn't meant for you, but it happens.
Look back. What has happened to that?
Yeah, I'm going to drop down with a big juicy mackerel bait. Now the rig that I've knocked up, it's just a one hook wrecking rig, a fish locker wrecking rig with a mackerel flapper on it. It just needs to be simple and strong with a big sharp hook. And yeah, like I say, I'm looking for a link. Now the tide's turned round now. We've got down here just about slack water, and the couple of 3 drifts that we've had, we're all cutting along perfectly on this wreck, real nice. And then now, as soon as the tide's turned, we've got wind and tide together, so yeah, we're off a completely different angle. So you're having to constantly adapt what you're doing throughout the day as the conditions change. Feeling this, we have one more wreck to try, and then we're going to go fishing shore with the lures. See if we can't find a bass. Try this new wreck for a ling. But as you can see, the conditions have picked up quite a bit. We've now got wind and tide together, so we're drifting relatively fast. Probably too fast to be doing this. The mackerel baits are just getting absolutely shredded by the pouting. Like this. That was a full flapper. Just can't get through them, and unfortunately if you put a jig down, you're going to catch a pouting. If you put a shad down, you're going to catch a pouting. There's not much you can do there. What I'm going to do for this drift is I will just concentrate on trying to keep Chris on the wreck. I'll run the engine, keep dogging the engine back and keep Chris on the wreck. The conditions have picked up just to the point where we can't keep on the wreck. So we're going to have a run inshore. I'm going to chuck some lures around. Throw some lures at some rocks. Let's have a little play around inshore. You're a bollock, look at you. A while coming.
Oh.
Whoa!
Good bollock.
We're in quite a lot of tide now. We're over a reef. So when you've got a fish that wants to run that way and you're going that way with the tide, yeah, it just puts extra pressure on it. Yeah. I am calling it. I think if we were meant to have caught them, we would have caught them. Right, we have got a lot of filleting to do, so I'm going to go tuck us in somewhere sheltered so we don't cut his fingers off. Go and fillet them fish. The key to a good fillet is definitely a sharp knife. Yeah. On days when we know we're going to be filleting a bit of fish, we do bring a steel down with us, because giving it an edge every 2 or 3 fish really does make a difference.
Tried taking the head off, see if it made a difference with the rolling. It does not. I've got a trolling board at home which is a little bit taller, so the head falls off it. It's quite nice.
We've finished filleting down. I tell you what, there's some stunning quality pollock fillets there. Yeah. We just couldn't make that ling happen, and yeah, fishing on the inshore reefs on the way back, it was just as if it completely switched off when that tide turned. But that's fishing for you, it just happens some days. I hope you enjoyed joining us. I hope you found it interesting. All the very best. See you later. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the Fish Locker YouTube channel, where we have hundreds of videos from our adventures just like this one. We upload new videos every Sunday evening, so don't forget to click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go.